Is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player 1. Player 2. Player 3. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Let's take you right now into the Jeopardy round. Clues are worth $200 to $1,000 in these categories. What's the word? Easter. Name that century. Edgar Allan Poe. On Broadway. And optical illusions. Player 1, you're in command. 1916's Easter Rebellion against British rule was centered in this capital city. Let's hear it, Player 1. Yep.
Yeah! Woo!
Player 1. These fundraising stamps for disabled children were first issued in 1934. Okay, Player 1. Good. Player 1, I'll hand it off to Sarah.
Named for when it was first visited, Easter Island, with its giant stone statues, is a territory of this country.
Let's hear it, Player 1. You got it. Player 1. This Hollywood landmark began observing its famous Easter sunrise service in 1921. Let's hear it, Player 1. Yes. Player 1. This location's first Easter egg roll was on April 22nd, 1878. Player 1? Right. Please pick again. According to an 1833 description, Poe dressed entirely in this color. Okay, Player 1? Hey, you're right. Player 1's wife, who passed away at age 24, had this name, like the state at whose university Edgar studied. Okay, Player 1? Yes. Player 1? The first obituary of Poe, which spoke of the frailties of genius, appeared in this city's Sun newspaper. Player 1? Good for you. Player 1? In 1842, Poe reviewed this British author's Barnaby Rudge, which features, a human-like raven. It's Player 1. That's correct. Short story contest with a story about one of these found in a bottle. Player 1? That's not it. Any other takers? Here's what we were looking for: a manuscript. Select again. Ben Franklin flew a kite and invented the lightning rod. Okay, player one. Right you are. Please, the Impressionists exhibited their paintings for the first time. Player one. Right. Answer: the Daily Double. You are in the lead. The clue: London experienced its deadly Great Fire. Congratulations, you're still in first, player one. Select. Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain got married and united their kingdoms. Let's hear it, player one. Right.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one. Rodent-borne plague killed off a third of Europe's population. It's player one. Yep. Player one. Two snugly cute characters in Avenue Q aren't called the bad news these, but the bad idea these. Yes, player one? That's it. So many of this Jonathan Larson musical's famous fans have gone backstage to add their names to a long graffiti wall. It's player one. Yes.
Yeah! Woo!
Player one. Fantasia of American Idol played the role of Celie in The Color This. Okay, player one. Yes. Player Spring one. Awakening is an alt-rock musical based on an 1891 play that Frank Wedekind originally wrote in this language. Let's hear it, player one. Right. Player Huey one. Lewis, Harry Hamlin, and George Hamilton have all been tapped to play tap-dancing lawyer Billy Flynn in this musical. Yes, player one? Yes. You again, player one. Hope you studied this eye part that, at its maximum contraction in an adult, may be less than 1 millimeter in diameter. Okay, player one. That's correct. Player one. Here's Jimmy. He'll show you.
To allow your eyes to see clearly at varying distances, fibers called the zonules of Zinn change the shape of this eye part that focuses light onto the retina.
Player one? No, that's not right. Anyone else? Here's the correct response. Lens. Player one. Don't detach this, which is next to the choroid and changes light rays into neural signals. Yes, player one? Yes. Player Drivers know the point where the optic nerve enters the eye has no rods or cones and goes by this two-word term. Yes, player one? That's correct. Select the sclera and this consist of tough tissues that make up the outer layer of the eyeball and give it strength. Yes, player one? Yes. Player one. On a snail, an onomatophore is a stalk with this at the end. Player one? You are correct. If you set some Chinese punk on fire, it's because Chinese punk is this, from the Latin for set on fire. Yes, player one? That's it. Player 1. A shako is a stiff, cylindrical one of these worn by soldiers. It's player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Any other takers? Here's the correct response. A hat. It's the medium on which you're traveling if you're in a hoy. Player 1? Correct. And here's the $1,000 clue. If you've got quinsy, also known as tonsillitis, you've got swelling in this part of your body. Let's hear it, player 1. Right.
Yeah! Woo!
Player 2, you're going first in Double Jeopardy, and we'll start that round right after this break. Let's see what happens in Double Jeopardy with these categories awaiting the players. 1977. Countries by newspaper. Myths and legends. What the H? Note the quotation marks. Scientific American. And the movie of the song. Where do we begin, player 2? On January 10th, 2010, this island republic was struck by a devastating earthquake. Player 1? Hey, you're right. It's the HT in HTTP and HTML. It's player 1. Right. Olympic event won twice by Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Let's hear it, player 1. You got it. In the 18th century BC, he wrote down his famous list of do's and don'ts. Yes, player 1? Right. So, used in marching bands, it's a large bass tuba that encircles the player's body. Let's hear it, player 1. Good.
Yeah! Woo!
Player 1, back to you. The Sydney Morning Herald, the Queensland Independent. It's player 1. Yeah, good. The Shizuoka Shimbun, the Nikan Ubejiho. Yes, player 1? No, that's not right. Any other takers? Here's what we wanted. Japan. Player 1. Answer. One of the daily doubles. You are in first place. Answer. Avanti. Il Messaggero. That puts you even further ahead. Player 1. Haaretz. Ma'ariv. It's player 1. That's it. Player 1. Posten, Politiken. Player 1. Yep. You again, player 1. Lose Yourself, 2002. Player 1. That is correct. Please. A Whole New World, 1992. It's player 1. That is correct. Player 1. Answer. The other Daily Double. You are in the lead. Okay, here is the clue. Let's hear it for the boy. 1984. You have maintained your lead. Way to go. Player one. Zippity-doo-dah. 1947. It's player one. Right. Select Papa, Can You Hear Me? 1983. Player one? Right. You again, player one. The earliest ballads of this outlaw say that his activities took place in South Yorkshire, not Nottinghamshire. Player one? Yes. Player one. In some legends, it's the influence of the full moon that changes a man into one of these, also called a lycanthrope. It's player one. Yes.
Yeah! Woo!
So here's Jimmy to start us off.
According to Norse legend, to learn the secrets of the rune stones, this chief god hung himself from a tree.
Player one? That's correct. Player one. This steel-driving man beat a steam drill in a race to make a railroad tunnel, but died with his hammer in his hand. It's player one. Yes. This hero of mythology cleaned the Augean stables by diverting the courses of two nearby rivers. Okay, player one. Yes. Player one. President Carter signed a treaty on September 7th, 1977 that said the United States would give up control of this in 1999. It's player one. Correct. The 91-year-old widow of this British Prime Minister was selling off his paintings to supplement her $26 a week pension. Okay, player one.
Yeah!
That's right. Way to go. Player one. The world lost two more Marx Brothers in 1977. Milton, also known as Gummo, and Julius, also known as this. Okay, player one. Right. Egypt was planning a new town to be built near Cairo to be called the 10th of this holy month. Let's hear it, player one. Good for you. Player one. In October of 1977, terrorists from this U.S. Commonwealth took the Statue of Liberty hostage for 9 hours. It's player one.
Yeah!
That is correct. Player one. Scientific American reported on the founder type of these genetic changes. They happen in one person and affect millions of descendants. Yes, player one? No, sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Player two. Yes. Player two, where do we start? A March 2002 story was on this bacterial toxin, months after the first purposeful release in the United States. Let's hear it, player one. That's right. Way to go. Player one. IPY, an international this year, kicked off in 2007 to study ice shelves and permafrost. Player one? Right. Player one. Appropriately, he wrote the October 1994 story, The Search for Extraterrestrial Life. Player one? That is correct.
Yeah! Woo!
Here's the $2,000 clue. Scientific American reported that millions of spam messages are generated by rogue software programs it called these. Player one? Right. Oh, sorry, Player 3. You'll not be progressing to Final Jeopardy. Everything depends on Final Jeopardy, of course, so let's take a look at the category, shall we? Poets. Please enter your wager. This is a good category. Here's the clue for you. One of her poems says, "I was 10 when they buried you. At 20, I tried to die and get back to you." What did you put as your response? And that will set you back. Let's see your response. And that will lose you. The correct response is Sylvia Plath.
Yeah!
Player one, congratulations to you. So long.